And I think somebody made the good point that spirituality isn't the same in America. You know, it's like the country's quite a secular country now. And I think that moving it to a place where spirituality is paramount, is such faith is such a huge part of Mexican culture, just gave it a vibrancy. And I think this is what it had been missing all along. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, that's genius. It just works perfectly.
A ver, espera. Ahorita, quédense como están. Jody. Profeta Jody. Di algo.
Hi guys, how are you?
Hi, great. Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for talking to me. So I gotta tell you, I watched the first 3 episodes of the show and I am obsessed with it, with all the aesthetic and the story, which I had read before. So congratulations on that. It's going to be a blast.
I'm so pleased you say that, because genuinely I love the first 3, but episodes 4, 5, and 6 are like out of this world. I'm so happy with those episodes. So if you love the first 3, you're going to really
like the first 3, episode 5, 6. It's literally breathtaking. I couldn't breathe and I was shaking while I was watching.
I'm anxious for that. So I want to start this interview talking to Bobby, because it's quite interesting having a character that is so young. He's between 12 and 13 years old, and he's asking all of these things about identity and believing this idea that he might be a divine being. How was it for you working with this character that is going through all this idea that there might be something greater than the human being and that he might also be a part of that?
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about being the same age as your character. You can relate to most of the things, obviously not the divine part, but you can relate to most of the things that he's going through in terms of growing up in puberty and wanting to know more about himself. Like, my parents don't hide much from me, but I'm sure if they did, I would be begging them for them to ask me. It's really interesting, like, exploring this new character, which is Jody, and I feel like he's been part of me all along, and I've just like unlocked him. I can like see things through Jody's view now, and I feel like he's part of me and I'm part of him. And I feel like I'm almost divine, obviously not in a cocky way, but I can feel it too, and I can feel the energy that comes with being Jody.
And now for Mark, one of the things I loved about this show is that they changed the context from where American Jesus is originally based. So how did the team approach you to talk to you about bringing this story into a more Mexican and pre-Hispanic sort of context?
I think it was one of the smartest things I've ever seen. It was Netflix made the call on that. You know, I would love to take the credit, but that was the Netflix team. I'd written this book 20 years ago. Loads of producers had come forward trying to get it made into a movie, and I hated everybody's ideas. You know, the takes were terrible, and there was something about it that just didn't work in America. And I think somebody made the good point that spirituality isn't the same in America. You know, it's like the country's quite a secular country now. And I think that moving it to a place where spirituality is paramount, is faith is such a huge part of Mexican culture, just gave it a vibrancy. And I think this is what it had been missing all along. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, that's genius. It just works perfectly. And it also meant that we got to work with filmmakers we wouldn't have otherwise got to work with, cast who we would never have met, you know, in a backdrop that if you were building that set in America, it would cost $100 million to make it look as good as that. And yet there it is. It's there for free in Mexico, in northern Mexico. There's this beautiful place. And this sounds crazy, right? I mean, I come from a really cold place, right? I come from Scotland, which is very rainy and everything. And I loved watching the cut every week of the latest cut of the show. It was like going on vacation. It was just this beautiful, sunny environment. I loved all the people. I loved the village. It was a world I miss already. I've watched all 6 episodes, obviously, and it's finished now, and I'm sad. Like, I love that it's in Mexico. And it's actually made me think, when I write things in future, I'm going to write them, set them in places I want to go. So that's my plan.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime you want. And now for Bobby, I think we all at some point think we are special in a certain kind of super powerful way. But your character, Bobby, doesn't want to be the chosen one. He doesn't want to have that power. If you ever woke up and realized you have these abilities that you can't explain, but they are somehow awesome, would you be excited or terrified to have such abilities?
Well, both. I mean, I spend the first week or month like asking why me, like I'm not special at all. I'd be asking where these powers come from, and then I'd start worrying. I'd have probably an existential crisis, start asking everybody like what to do. I would need advice, and I would ask advice from people I've met on this show. like Mark and Diana and everyone. I think they're all so wise, and I truly think they'd like put me on the right path.
Bobby, what if this turns out to be true and you are that guy? This is us just telling you now. This is us just telling you, but we've waited for this moment to let you know.
Yeah, I'm actually not a journalist. I'm this angel agent that comes to let you know that you have powers. My final question is going to be for Mark, because in the novels, I remember seeing some frames that were so visually appealing. I want to know if in the moment to translate all of this into the screen were some aspects about this aesthetic that you asked to keep on the show.
No, the thing I always say to anyone, because I'm also a producer and I'm an executive at Netflix, you know, I sort of talk to everybody every day, and what I say to them is, make this better than the book. I say this to everyone who adapts my stuff. I said, don't feel beholden, just make it better, because most people will know your material through the live action. Most people don't read the books. Most people see the TV show or they see the movie. So I'm like, please don't make it worse than the book, because then it's really embarrassing for me. I'm like, just make it as good as you can possibly make it. So I never asked them for anything. All I want is quality. I want anything with my name on it to be as good as it can be. And they nailed it. They really did. I mean, the Gout brothers are both Mexican filmmakers, you know, the writing and directing and producing as well. And they just did the most beautiful job on this. I feel privileged to have had them bring this to life.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today. And Bobby, I gotta tell you, I had the chance to go to the set visit like a year ago. So it's crazy that I saw you shooting this scene where you're with the torch in the cave, and finally seeing that on the episode last night, I was so excited. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the same when I'm watching it. I'm like, oh wait, I remember this. So I can't concentrate on anything that's happening. All I'm thinking about all the memories coming back to me. So I can't really tell how good it is or not. So I'll just have to have faith.
Right. So thank you so much and have a great one. Congratulations on the show.
Thank you.
Lo encontré.
Reach out and touch faith.